Hello Reddit. What's your caught in a not safe for work situation at work? The amount of odd porn titles that have come up in my client's search history when I've done tech support is, yeah. I work nights in the reception at a small hotel. Once this older guy came down with his laptop and requested help because he couldn't make his porn work. So I had to update the guy's flash player to make his Filipino porn work. Used to be a lifeguard and decided to take a break to walk the dog in the bathroom. Only had some family bathrooms, not really any men or women designated areas. So I sit down and whip out the old mobile device and start yanking the chain. When all of a sudden the door begins to open up and a younger dad who doesn't know how to knock, my fault I didn't lock it, decides that he is gonna walk right in. He then looks at me as I've got my dick in one hand and my phone in the other and turns to his wife, who couldn't see me, and says, "Let's not use this one, it's pretty dirty." He backed out and closed the door. I have never felt so relieved, but so traumatized and a little mad. For a while I was sort of dating our secretary. One day after work, after everyone had gone home, she came into my office and we ended up having a great time on my desk. About halfway through I picked her up and pushed her against the glazed glass wall of my office while she was straddling me. After I got tired, she turned around facing the glass and we continued until I finished. I had forgotten about the security cameras in the hallways and entrance. About 3 days later I get to work and there is a DVD plus R on my desk with a note, "Hope you had fun," and it was of the camera that points almost directly at my office because it is on a corner. You could a lot more than I thought you could through those glazed windows. Security guys are either blackmailing me or a bro. The walk-in freezer at the Papa John's in Alamogordo NM is a dirty place. I wasn't the only person busted with another pizza delivery person doing NSFW things. But the Domino's freezer in that town isn't any cleaner. I was a janitor in college dorms. I worked with this 160-something dude with bad legs. One day my supervisor walked in on him pants down jacking it in the janitor closet. The way he tells it, they both locked eyes. Then he just turned around and left. Telling my friend's story, with her permission of course. My friend had a big interview this day. She studied nutrition in college and was interviewing with a hospital in Boston to work on their dietetics team. She went to the interview and met with the hospital worker, sat down and chatted for a bit. It was going well, so the interviewer asked if she wanted a tour of the area of the hospital she would be working in. She agreed, and the hospital was beautiful, but the interviewer seemed a bit awkward during the tour. She figured this was their way of politely ending the interview when they weren't interested, and tried to brush the awkwardness off and compensate by being more energetic, which only seemed to make the interviewer even more awkward. Finally, at the end of the tour, when she was leaving, the interviewer admitted that she had a lovely sweater, but there was a lacy black thong stuck to her back from static. She had been parading around the hospital trying to talk herself up, all the while walking around with a thong displayed for all to see. Needless to say, she didn't end up working there, and to this day jokes about how, if she's ever dying, and we need to send her to a hospital, how she'd rather die than be admitted there. Not me, but my co-worker. He climbed up an extension ladder and climbed inside the web of an I-beam that was 8 inches from a wall that we had to fire caulk without a harness on. 30 feet in the air. Safety bad dogging redneck fucker snuck up on me as I was spotting for him. Nothing happened because we had a labor shortage and he showed up every day. I was chilling at my grandpa's work between school and swimming lessons, mainly to eat at the cafeteria. He worked in the government of my shitty country and had an old computer in his office, but him being old he wasn't using it much. So me being a 12yo horny pervert and having access to internet for the first time in my life, found out about internet porn. I only watched it, but nonetheless there was a lot of disturbing porn traffic coming in through my grandpa's PC. This went on for months until my grandpa got in trouble for using a government computer for porn. I wasn't allowed to come to his work after that. Edit. Side story. Once I got on my grandpa's colleague's PC. He was like a 35yo dude, and I was browsing around the shit he had. I found a hidden folder and found something that left me puzzled for years. It was a video of a woman with a huge vagina and a bald dude. He started out slow, just some fisting. Little bit of fisting, nothing serious, just some casual fisting. Then in went his foot. Turns out that was a bulled up. Dude ended up sticking his bald head in her monster puss. Literal reverse birth. I could never unsee that, and interacting with the dude became weird afterwards. Walked into the bathroom to see two male co-workers looking at one of their crotches and saying, "Yeah, I'm taking you to the hospital right now." Turns out that the guy being examined was special needs and needed help knowing if he needed medical attention for a nasty skin rash. Turns out that it was just heat rash from wearing really hot clothing during the summer. A little bit of backstory on this one. I have a porn album on my phone. I'm not obsessed with it or anything, but sometimes the Wi-Fi goes out and I still wanna get my nut off. The cover image for the album is a completely blank screen and the title is pornography. Seriously, dude, don't click on this. I figured that title and the lack of a cover image would be enough to sate the curiosity of anyone snooping on my phone, so they wouldn't click on it. Now that you know this, into the story. So I was showing a coworker some pictures of a sunrise or something else cool I saw that morning, and he takes my phone to scroll through them. Then, when he gets to the end of them, he exits the album and starts looking at my other photos. At this point, I'm getting pretty nervous, but basically freeze up and don't know what to even say. I try to ask him to give me my phone back, but I can't even manage to choke out any words anymore. He looks through a couple of albums of relatively innocent stuff before seeing my good old porn album. I'm embarrassed at this point, but I figure he'll just awkwardly give me back my phone and we'll pretend this never happened. Right? Wrong? I don't know the logic behind this, but he clicks on it, and in the split second before it loaded, his face had the look of, "Oh god, I just majorly fucked up" all over it. Right as he clicks, I manage to say "wait on," before he sees around 10 or 15 images that I don't want to describe in detail. I snatched my phone from him and nervously said sorry and took a bathroom break to catch my breath and get away from him. When I got back, he looked at me differently, but he didn't say anything about it, and we pretended it never happened. I was working a construction job a long time ago, and I was watching this beautiful woman who was walking down the street. Gorgeous legs, a short skirt and a low-cut blouse. I couldn't stop staring. But I probably should have, because I wasn't paying attention, and I got slammed in the head by a 2x4 that was leaning against something and fell down. I was wearing my hard hat thankfully, but I was dazed for a moment and had to sit down. It was then that I learned to appreciate work safety. I caught two female coworkers making out in a closet. Once caught, they tried to cover by saying "care to help us." Now here's a problem. I would have, but 3 of the bosses were right there with me. They hadn't looked into the closet yet, so I said I'll help later. Got the bossman with me right now and quickly motioned to my right. They got the hint, buttoned up their shirts, and got out of there. No one ever found out, but I never got to help. It looked like an interesting project though. Only got caught peripherally in this one. One of my guys assigned to one of our regional offices kept getting help requests from one clerical, and most of the problems were questionable at best. She obviously just wanted to see him. One day he gets a call and goes up to her cubicle and she's standing there with her pants off. He backed out of that, put her on his do not respond list until things could get straightened out, and then called me for help, since nothing he had done was working. Since she wasn't my employee, I picked up the phone and called the regional director. The initial contact was something like, "Hi, regional, first name basis. You know, I've always supported casual Fridays, but don't you think no pants Fridays are a little too much?" I had a temp job that didn't provide enough work, so I would regularly browse the internet in my downtime. The boss didn't like that, and after the 3rd time catching me, she refused to renew to contract with me because I worked too efficiently. Clearly any internet browsing isn't safe for work. This happened about 10 to 12 years ago at this small, 60 people, company I work for. A typical accidental reply all instead of a forward. Not as good as other replies in this thread. Anyways, this lady replied all to something with a joke that the punk line was a picture of this girl pulling her shirt up. I've tried unsuccessfully for about 10 minutes to find the joke as I can't remember it. Maybe someone here knows what I'm talking about. So I'm sitting there, open the email, then 2 seconds later hear her screaming, oh god no. No 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 no. It was hilarious. We are both still there, but I suppose she got her firm talking to at the time.